Hey guys, it's Dave here from Creative Path Films, and in today's video, you're going to learn how to shoot food hero shots. This is a follow-up to a previous video where we showed you how to set up a multi-camera cooking show. If you haven't seen that video yet and you'd like to learn more about that multi-camera setup, make sure to check that one out. I'll link it up in the cards as well as down in the description. This part of the setup was our 6th camera on this overall shoot, designed to capture our hero shots of the finished plated dishes, as well as promotional shots for each recipe. We use this setup for a wide variety of different meals, and it worked a treat across the board. Now, by the end of this video, if you start to feel a little bit hungry and you'd like to learn how to make some of these meals all for yourself, then make sure to check out Chef Angela's channel, Fresh Food Friday. I'll put a link to that down in the description. All right, let's get into it. There are a few parts that went into this overall setup, with the core of the setup being a lightweight camera jib. This shoot was a fast-paced shoot, and we wanted to be able to capture a range of different angles very, very quickly. So a jib made the most sense in this situation. When we wanted to shoot a top-down angle, we'd simply position the end of the jib directly over the product, and then we'd either hover it in place or do a subtle jib up or jib down. When we wanted to get a different shot, usually one taken from the front, we'd simply slide the tripod legs back and lower the jib down to the correct spot. We'd repeat this process for each dish, shooting both an overhead shot as well as several shots from the front, usually shooting down onto the plate at about a 20 to 30 degree angle. The jib we used for this shoot was a Kessler Crane KC Light 8-foot jib. This is a lightweight jib that's designed specifically for DSLRs and mirrorless cameras. And shout out to Gold Coast Camera Hire for providing the jib for this shoot. The jib was mounted onto a Manfrotto 504 HD head on the 546B tripod legs, as this is the chunkiest tripod setup that we have in our kit. When using any kind of a jib setup, you definitely want to use the strongest and sturdiest tripod legs that you can possibly get. You definitely don't want to be using a lightweight tripod. At the front end of the jib, we had a Manfrotto 701 HDV head, which is a small lightweight tripod head. And then on that, we had the Panasonic S1, which is an excellent full frame camera. Paired with the camera, we had the Panasonic 24-105 f4 lens, and this allowed us to capture a wide variety of shots at different focal lengths. So it was very versatile in this setup. At the rear end of the jib, we had the Atomos Ninja 5 as a monitor, and that was attached to the tripod head using a magic arm. And this allowed me to monitor the shots that we were getting as I was operating the jib. All right, now let's move on to lighting. To light this setup, we used a top light with a softbox attachment. If you'd like to see a few ways that you can rig up a top light, you can learn more by checking out this video right here. For this shoot, we were using an Aperture 120D Mark II with a 26-inch softbox attachment. We used a smaller softbox this time around because, frankly, we were using our larger ones elsewhere in the set. But we also wanted to keep the weight down because the light was rigged onto the end of the C-stand arm, so we needed to keep the whole setup as light as possible. This worked quite well, but when it comes to softboxes, the larger you go, the softer your light will be. Next time, I think I'd try and use something a little bit bigger, maybe around the 37-inch mark. And that is presuming that we have enough room overhead. Using a soft top light source is really the key to this entire look, because that soft light wraps around the food really beautifully, creating really nice reflections and soft, subtle shadows. It's really important to use high CRI light sources whenever you're shooting food. And the reason is that you want the best color rendition possible. Our Aperture light worked beautifully for this with a high CRI of 96+. In addition to our top-down key light, we also had a number of small LED light tubes that we used as backlights or rim lights. The lights we used were the Luxio P7 LED light tubes, and we've talked about these lights in a few videos in the past, so you can check those out if you're interested. We mounted these light tubes onto small tabletop tripod legs so that we could easily move them around and reposition them for each shot. There's one last element that we utilized for these videos, and that is a turntable. A turntable is a must-have accessory if you're planning on doing any kind of product or food shots, as it allows you to get some really interesting and dynamic shots without having to move your camera much. It allows you to slowly rotate your plated dishes and capture some really nice detail shots. Now, when you're shopping to buy a turntable, ideally you want to pick an electric one. This is by far the best option for you to get. But unfortunately for us, we didn't have enough lead time ahead of the shoot to order one in. So this meant that we had to improvise a little bit and go with something a bit more rudimentary. Instead of a turntable, we opted for a wooden Lazy Susan. When operating an unmotorized Lazy Susan, there were two methods that we tried. The first is to try and do it by hand, and this is definitely not the route that I recommend. Now, this is incredibly fiddly and takes quite a bit of skill to be able to maintain smooth, even rotations. A much better method that we discovered was to use an electric drill, and that becomes a rudimentary motor. What you do is you grab any kind of electric drill, ideally one that's cordless, and you position the head of the drill without any kind of drill bit attached under the lip of the Lazy Susan. Then set your drill to the lowest speed and have one of your crew members slowly engage the drill. Then, just like magic, it will start to spin your Lazy Susan at a smooth, consistent speed. Couple of things to watch out for. If you have a tabletop surface underneath your Lazy Susan that you need to protect, make sure that you put something underneath the head of the drill bit, otherwise you might wear that surface away. And the other thing is, if your drill has an LED light on it, make sure to cover that up with some tape. So that's a little trick that you can employ if you don't have access to a motorized turntable. So there you have it, guys. That's how we shot our hero shots of our finished plated dishes on our recent cooking shoot. If you'd like to see more videos just like this, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out. And like I said before, if you're feeling a little bit hungry, make sure to check out Chef Angela's channel over at Fresh Food Friday. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to let me know by leaving it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.